Since classes will be held online this term, this is a brief introduction to using Zoom and the expectations for in-class behavior. Firstly, when you log in for class, be sure that your microphone is off. You can adjust your mic using this button. If you click on the little arrow pointing upward to the right of the microphone button, you can test your microphone or set up your phone to act as your microphone if your computer doesn't have one. To prevent audio feedback and background noise, keep your microphone muted until you're called on to ask or answer a question. For privacy reasons, if any sensitive topics come up in class, and also to help reduce audio feedback, please wear headphones if possible. You can adjust your video similarly with the button just to the right. You're strongly encouraged to keep your camera on during class. It can help to maintain your attention and also allows your professor to visually determine whether you might have any questions or would like to have something repeated. It also allows your professor to ensure that everyone is as on task as possible. Do what you can to create a dedicated class space for yourself and behave as you would if you were together in person. Don't try to cook at the same time, don't call in from work or while you're on a walk, etc. There are, of course, going to be many more distractions in our home environments than there would be in a classroom, but it's important to minimize those as much as possible. Try to find a quiet space for yourself during class time, and for safety reasons, absolutely do not call into class while you're driving. Part of the reason why we want to set expectations for clearly delineated class time with as few distractions as possible is that we include a lot of active responding in our lectures and discussions. This means that you do need to attend class on a computer or tablet, not just a phone. You are, of course, encouraged to jump in with any questions or answers at any time, but you may also be asked with short notice to try answering questions in a round-robin format, answer pop quiz questions, use the chat box to give short answers, or respond to polls using the buttons in Zoom. You can pull up the chat box with the buttons circled here, and the response buttons from the participants window. Just so you're fully aware, the Zoom meeting host is able to see everything from the chat box, even when you send direct messages to other attendees. Some activities in class might require you to open up separate windows, either your internet browser or Word or Excel documents. Before class time each week, review the current module on D2L to see whether there are any files you should download and have open and ready for class time. If possible, sit down to log into class at least 5 minutes early so that you can make sure that you have all of the materials you need ready to go. For example, there are often in-class assignments, sometimes abbreviated ICAs, for you to follow along with during class. Other activities might require you to collaboratively work with other students in a Google Doc, or engage in higher rate active responding on separate websites like Mentimeter or Kahoot. Those activities can be pulled up on your phone or another device with internet access if you have one available, or just in a separate internet browser window on your laptop or computer. It can be tough to keep all of your materials organized when you have to switch back and forth between windows. It can help to close everything but what you need for class on your computer. Then, a useful shortcut is pressing the Alt key on your keyboard and then pressing Tab at the same time. If you hold down Alt and press Tab multiple times, you can cycle through the different windows quickly, like this. You can also arrange your windows to be open side by side with each other. You can manually change the size of the windows, or if you're using a PC, hold down the Windows key and then press the left or right arrow. You should then see a display from which you can select which window you want to open and appear next to it. If you don't, you can simply open that second window separately and do the same thing. Hold down the Windows key and press right or left to put it into place. On a Mac, click and hold the full screen button in the upper left corner of a window. As you hold the button, the window shrinks and you can drag it to the left or right side of the screen. Release the button, then click a window on the other side of the screen to begin using both windows side by side. Unfortunately, Zoom has to be updated pretty often. The updates should typically download automatically, but if you have any technical difficulties, a good first step is to check for updates manually. With the Zoom program open, but not with a meeting running, click on your profile picture at the top right of the window. Then select Check for Updates. This is another good reason to try to log in about 5 minutes early in case you run into any glitches and need to quickly update before class starts. If you're running late though, or having any technical difficulties, don't panic. Classes are recorded and you can review them afterward if you miss anything. If possible, shoot your professor a quick text or email, whichever they prefer, to let them know what's going on. Again, do not call in if you're driving. We would much rather you be a few minutes late than risk your safety. It's also less distracting to simply call in when you're able to be at your computer rather than transitioning from your phone to a computer.